Hello, happy thinkers. It's Melissa here, and welcome to my channel. I'm just happy that you were able to join us. My name is Melissa, and I'm the creator of Think Me First and Rock Your Vibe Apparel. So you can find me on Facebook at my group Think Me First. You can also find me at thinkmefirst.com. I am on Pinterest at Missy Think Me First. Of course, I'm here on YouTube, and I do have my storefront at rockyourvibe.com. I create designs for high vibration apparel. So you can go there and visit my apparel and let me know what kind of designs you like the best, or if you would like to see a design. So you can go there, and I'm going to post all those in the comments below so that you have the links readily available for those. But if you could do me one more favor, actually a couple, give me a thumbs up for this video. That would be awesome. And then hit the subscribe bar, and then hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified every time I do post a video, which is every Wednesday at 7 p.m. ish, because we are shooting WTF, or Wednesday Thought Forum. With that being said, welcome to WTF, also known as Wednesday Thought Forum. And tonight we are actually shooting live episode number 59, almost to 60. So, but tonight we're going to be talking about, why we should choose to embrace boredom. And I know it's kind of odd. Here in the U.S., we live extremely busy lifestyles. So if you're outside of the U.S., then maybe you have a slower pace. I know in Europe, there's a lot slower pace than here in the U.S. But it's important to have that downtime. I really see it in kids. You know, their parents have them in all these sports or classes, or, taking art classes or whatever it is. And so it's like one thing after another. And then when those kids are at home and there's nothing to do, then they get very anxious because they're bored and they don't know what to do because their lives have been inundated with activity after activity. So I'm just letting you know, and it really hits us as an adults, that if we have some sort of boredom, it really drives a lot of people to be anxious because we don't know how to sit and relax and enjoy that freedom that we have. But this is kind of boredom with has to do with boredom with like goals and things that you want to accomplish. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to start off and start off with the myth about passion, because most people think that when you have this goal that you want to achieve, that you have to be super passionate about it, super motivated, hyped up, all that. And to a degree, that's kind of true, but not always, because with anything that you do, you're almost likely going to hit a boring time, but necessary in order to complete that goal or to be successful. So, it leads to us being extremely hyped up in the beginning and very motivated and everything. And then that excitement wears off. And then what do? We hit a point where we no longer have motivation, and there's no drive left in us to complete what we want to do, our goal or life mission or whatever it is that you have. Some of these things that you may be feeling when you hit this boring spot is like when your alarm clock goes off, and what do you want to do? You want to sleep. You're not anxious to get up and get started with things. Or maybe, when you get home from work, you're super tired and you don't want to go to the gym that night because it's not something that you're interested in that night because you're just not motivated. But it doesn't mean that you don't want to work out to get healthier, right? Or perhaps, we get a bunch of tedious work pile up, whether it's housework or work at work. And then we just start doing what? We procrastinate. And I think I'll do my next video on procrastination, because we really haven't talked about that. And a lot of people do it. I think everyone has to some degree at some point in their life, but some people are really notorious for it. But, when we get to this point where we have no lack of motivation and it feels like our passion's gone away, believe it or not, it's a high 92% of people that just quit. And, They don't go back and finish the goal. They just flat out quit because they can't find that passion or that motivation that they think that they're supposed to have throughout this journey. And then again, they just up and quit. So this is what we want to avoid. All right. So, going through our journey, we're going to have moments. It's inevitable. You're going to have moments where you get bored with the process or the work or whatever. It's going to happen. There's going to be times that you're just simply not motivated to do it, or the work's going to be monotonous and you're getting really, really tired of it and it's tedious. So you're going to have these boredoms, but you need to learn how to push through them. All right. I'm going to use this for an example. I love shooting the videos. One thing I'm not so keen about, because it takes a lot of time, is putting them into blogs and then writing them out. A lot of times it's boring, it's time consuming. But I kind of like it to a degree because, then I can reread things and rethink. But, it's part of the process and it needs to be done. So I just work through it. I know that you guys benefit from it. So that's what keeps me going. So thank you. But so the next thing is, how do we embrace this boredom? We know that there's going to be boring moments. So how do we embrace that? Well, number one is going to be that you need to remember your purpose. When you start a goal, you have a purpose that you want to complete it, or the reason why you want to achieve success in this particular area of your life or work, whatever. So, these things are important to you in the first place, or you would never committed to them. So keep in mind that purpose that drove you there in the first place. And then when you face these boring points, then if you keep remembering this throughout your journey, it's just going to help you, again, push through, and the reasons why you're doing it. And then it's just going to help you feel even better when you do accomplish the goal, that you were able to push through some of these boring moments. Number two is, believe this or not, do the boring things first. Yeah, I said do the boring things first. And I'll tell you why. Because, we have this natural tendency when things start to bore us, or we come to a stopping point that, we don't feel like we can move on. We just don't want to do it, and we want to push it off until later. It's funny because Mark Twain calls these things frogs, these ugly, disgusting things on our to-do list that we don't want to do. And then what do? We end up procrastinating. So do these things first, get them out of the way, and then the rest of it will be easy, because there'll be things that you're more passionate about, more interesting. So just get these ugly things out of the way that you don't want to do first, and then things will be much better. You'll get that motivation back and that passion back again. Unfortunately, if we put these things off, then we lose more willpower to do them. And then it's just trickling down to where we don't do them. Again, remember that 92% that doesn't complete them. So most of the time you would want to do these in the morning, because that's when we have our most willpower. We're focused, we're refreshed because we had a good night's sleep. We're feeling great. And you can knock these out just like that, because you're focused and you don't have anything going on in your mind. So the sooner in the day that you take action on these, the better it's going to be. And the easier it's going to be to complete these things. Number three is going to be a technique. It's called the Pomodoro Technique. And it's interesting, I came across this because I used this a lot in college to study. In college, they said if you learn the most, or you retain the most, in 30-minute increments, and then you take a break for 10 minutes, go back. So this is how I studied for exams a lot. But the Pomodoro Technique is pretty much a technique where you set a timer. And in the current research, again, I'm not fresh out of college, so current research says to do things like in 25-minute increments, and then take a 5-minute break in between. And when you do this, you're focused, you don't have any distractions, just get these things done in the 25 minutes, and then take a 5-minute break. If you need to reset for another 5 minutes, go ahead and do that. Just make sure you take that 5-minute break in between, but you're going to complete these boring tasks that you don't want to do. You'd be surprised how much you can get done in 25 minutes. Okay. So it's going to help. It's going to keep you from being overwhelmed. and reaching these boring points. And then it's going to be less tempting to procrastinate. And last but not least, you want to fall in love with the process. So I'm going to give you an example with the process. Let's just take these high endurance athletes that want to be world-class champions, for example. What do you think they do? They run a lot. They probably lift weights a lot, probably focus on their diet a lot. I'm sure they do more, but I mean, think about just running every day, lifting weights every day, running some more every day. You know, it's tedious work. But there's a difference with some of these high-class endurance athletes. I could never be one because I don't have the discipline that probably some of them do. But what they learn to do is fall in love with the process, because I can guarantee that they don't think running gets boring. I mean, I think they do think that running gets boring sometimes. So they may need to change it up, or maybe lifting weights gets boring to them. You know, they're going to have those days where they don't want to go for that long run, or they don't want to go lift weights, but you know, they push through it and they learn to embrace the process, or they fall in love with the process. So what they do is they just create new challenges. Like maybe, you know, today I don't want to run 10 miles in 6 minutes. I think I can do 15 miles in 10 minutes. So they just take that and they just get better and better and better, because they enjoy the process of being a champion. May not enjoy running all the time or lifting weights or whatever it is they do, because I'm sure there's a lot more entailed to that. But they fall in love with the process and they become successful. And this is going to happen in your own journey. You're going to have to find ways to fall in love with the process. Some people will track their progress from where they are now and what they end up, or how they end up. You know, you just need to find what works for you. You may be doing the same thing because you like regimens. So you may just keep doing the same thing and don't break those habits, or don't break that routine that you have. Others get bored easy and want to just change it up. So just find something to change up. You know, it can be something just simple that you're not just repetitively doing that can make a world of difference. But again, you just need to find out what it is to push you through those hard and boring days. So again, I'm going to revisit real quickly that one of the greatest myths when it comes to boredom is that you must have that passion and motivation at all times. And again, this couldn't be further from the truth, because you're always going to have one of those boring moments, at least one, some more than others, but you're going to reach those and plateau. But just again, find a way to push through. So just to remember, you know, we must learn to embrace the boredom. Okay. We've talked about how important it is, and it's a necessary step to proving how badly we want to accomplish this. Right? If we can remember our purpose, that helps us push through. If we remember to get those boring things done first, then the rest of it's going to come real easy for you. Okay. And then we're also going to be avoiding overwhelm, because we get these things that we don't like so much out of the way, and then we can enjoy the rest of the process. And then finally, that brings us to that last element is, you know, loving the process. So these will help us push through these boring moments, because at the end, guess what? You will truly enjoy the fun and exciting and success that you have when you defeat boredom and then accomplish your goals. All right. So in the comments below, let me know what you took away from this video. And until then, I just want to wish everyone a wonderful day. Thank you again for your support. I love you all. And remember, think me first. It's not selfish, but it is necessary. Thank you guys. You have a good evening.